like, comment, and share this episode. Now grab your tea, coffee, or a glass of wine and let's talk to Tings. Welcome back to Let's Talk to Tings, where we discuss personal growth, music, travel, and film while encouraging you to live fearlessly and fabulously. I'm your host, Ash. And this week, we are talking to Tings with the incredibly talented Trinidadian singer and songwriter, Braveboy. Hi, Marcus. How are you?
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come and talk the things with me. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. Blessings from Trinidad and Tobago.
I've actually never been to Trinidad.
You are missing it.
I
It's
know. Casely
as
has
a
told me in
yeah.
times I need to get there.
Every Trinidadian needs to go to Jamaica, and every Jamaican needs to go to Trinidad. I've been to Jamaica once. I love
Really?
Jamaica. I just for some reason I just never went back. But it's just I wish the flights weren't as expensive between islands because it's like for the price to go Trinidad to Jamaica, you could go Miami, New York, and opportunity wise for my music, those places will. But I love Jamaica.
Yes. It's so funny because I think persons that aren't familiar with the Caribbean, they think we're just all kind of lined up together, but we're pretty far apart. Like some of the countries are. This is our listeners' favorite segment, and it's called Dat Na Sound Safe.
I love the Jamaican accent. I love the Jamaican accent.
Oh gosh. So it sounds scary, but I promise you it's not. Good fun. I'm going to read messages or social media posts that listeners sent in. If you think it's crazy or sounds like you're not really sure, you just say that not sound safe and explain why. And if you agree, you just say you agree. All right. Somebody said, divine protection also comes in the form of doors closing softly, not to punish you, but to spare you from rooms that would have asked you to shrink, settle, or abandon your peace.
I love that.
Yeah, that sounds safe, right?
That's what do you say the opposite of that? We say RLC.
Yeah. Exactly. I won't even try to do the Trinidadian accent and butcher it, but what you said. I think that a lot of times doors closing can be really difficult in the moment because I think it causes you to maybe think, why me or why is this happening? But 9 times out of 10, maybe it's not quickly, but eventually you see why that door had to close. And usually it's for your own good. You know, all the time I think it's for your good actually, but I think you don't really see it until it's revealed why that door had to close.
And I think a lot of stuff has happened in my career like that where
Mm.
some I mean I have some crazy opportunities, especially at EDM and the door just closed softly on me and it's just like but I
Mm.
was so close, like why did it, and but then you go through your career and you see that that wasn't for you, or they didn't really want to take you down that path because they saw something that you had to learn a quick lesson and move on.
Definitely. And that's the thing. I think as you get older, you learn the importance of what you just said, learning the lesson and moving on. And I mean, it's not easy, it's going to be hard, but I think what is for you will always be for you. In Jamaica, we have a saying, what is for you can be on for you. And it's just a reminder that whatever's to be will be.
Yeah, I think so. And sometimes, I mean, it could be ego that makes you feel like make you just go in the loop of thinking about
Yeah.
why wasn't I chosen or why didn't this, whether it's an opportunity or person or whether, like the ego in you is like, why was it that I wasn't good enough? But sometimes it's not even about that. It's just this was not for you. And I think it's a humbling thing and you have to let the universe, God take control of life. And I think that sometimes I've seen friends and peers just get stuck in the trauma of not getting an opportunity or not getting something, and they can't move on. They're
Yeah.
stuck in this loop. I've seen people stuck in this loop for a decade. Like they're literally stuck in the loop, like again, fight down, or like these people not supporting me, and they just can't move on. So
Very important. All right. The next one, the person said, if you're worried about the cost of going for it, you should see the price of staying exactly where you are.
ooh, these are deep.
I
That
know. We
make
get
it. I
deeper.
like it. I like it. That make it. That make it. I'm loving these quotes so far, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, that I think that's it's the name of my clothing line, shameless plug, is Addicted to Progress. And I think it's something that I live by. I can't just, since I was younger, I just always wanted to be progressive and just better myself, level up, try to be a better person, try to get better at what I'm at. And sometimes you see people, I've seen, as of recent, I've seen friends, they get kind of stuck in the same zone of, and I think trauma causes that, fear or trauma. Sometimes it's fear of taking a big step, like you're afraid that you have a big failure.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are afraid of that. And I think I've always been pretty bold with that. I mean, my name is Braveboy. Yeah, well, it's actually my real last name. Yeah,
Wow. Oh my
but for
gosh.
sure, I think fear holds us back. I've seen it with so many people. And I think that even with this getting back into soca, it was a huge risk because in my international career, I was finally starting to stabilize. And okay, I'm one of the artists from Trinidad who doesn't need to do soca to have a career. But the universe brought me back to soca, and I decided to take a big jump. And so far, it's very daring. It could have ended up badly for me, but so far, the song is doing really well. I've gotten the respect of the industry. It's up for road. It's a road match contender, which is crazy. Yeah,
Amazing. I'm so proud of you. The song is amazing though, so I'm
thank
not
you very much.
surprised.
It's hard, so that make it. That quote make it. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think something important to talk about what you said, fear, right? I think that holds a lot of us back, myself included. I've had moments when I felt like, oh, should I do that? Or I don't think it's going to look right, or I don't think it's going to sound right, or, and it's really you second guessing your intuition, which I
Oh, for sure.
think we need to like not do as much just as human beings. I think also the fear of how persons will respond to something. Music is your art as an artist.
Hmm.
So I don't think a lot of people know the ins and outs of music and the industry. And I don't even mean just like writing, I mean instrumentation, everything. Like when you put some of yourself out into the world, it can be very fearful to think like, how will people respond? Are people going to like it? Are they going to say bad things about it? Because it's a part of you. So,
And we have tough crowds in Trinidad. Like I
yes.
performed in a club in Trinidad,
Hmm.
and the stage manager put me to perform second in a lineup of like 20 something artists.
Hmm.
And I perform when people now coming into the club, nobody didn't drink anything yet. So you know that the crowd just, and it's a kind of Gen Z crowd.
Yeah.
So they were just standing up and watching me. I'm singing, I jumped off the stage and I was singing, like, like the song's a love song. So I'm singing
Yeah.
to the ladies in the crowd. Some actually did this and moved away, and it's like, when you think about what that does to you psychologically as an artist, it's one thing if you don't have a popular song, but I have a song that's playing on the radio consistently. But
Yeah.
plus,
Yeah.
you putting yourself, then anything can happen. When I performed in the gig after that, I said, DJ, play this song. And then there are technical difficulties. So I'm on this stage in front of thousands of people. And then I just have to look around and I'm seeing that the DJ is struggling to figure out what's going on. And I just started to talk to. So I'm just saying, it's like entertainers really go through a lot. The music industry is really, really hard, and I think that's why I think we have being an entertainer. I think is one of the most exciting, fulfilling careers you can have in
Yeah.
terms of there's opportunities and experiences, and it's hard, but it's a fun job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. For
but
sure.
for everybody.
You know what? I'm glad you bring that up because that is part of the reason why I do this podcast and continue to do this podcast. Because when I do have musicians, and I said it to Lyrical as well when he was on, I think a lot of people, especially soca artists, because you guys in particular make really like fun, joyful music. So most of the time, people aren't really wondering like who you are as people and what you go through because it's really like a take relationship. People are just like, oh, this is another song to make me feel good, make me feel good. But I think the more opportunities that you all have to talk about who you are as people, I think it also helps people connect, right?
I'm not too sure how it is in Jamaica with crowds, but in Trinidad, a lot of people are afraid.
It's
I've never performed in Jamaica, but I think as Trinidadians, we are afraid of embarrassment. So I think a lot of people don't want to be singled out because a lot of performers in Trinidad
Mhm.
single people out and will tell somebody to come on stage or tell. So I think what those young women did is probably not that they were scorning me or anything. It's probably they were just their impulse was, I don't want to be highlighted. I don't want to be the spotlight on me. So it's one of those things. And
That makes sense.
there were two, like there were two groups of women, of two women who, when I sang to them, there was the total opposite. They were dancing and engaging me, and I think you can't take things personally.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's an ego thing. I've learned over the years of my life to really shed ego. I think, especially as guys, ego is what leads us down a destructive path.
I'm glad it's you that say it, but it's true.
Yeah, in careers, whether it's in fatherhood, whether it's in being a child to your parents.
Mhm.
So I think ego. I've learned to like really shed my ego from a pretty young age as best as I can because it's just not worth it.
And I'm glad you explained the thing about the audience. That didn't even dawn on me. So I think that's a
Yeah,
good perspective to look at it alternatively. But I still think it would help. It does help people respond differently if they're able to think, like, okay, maybe I don't want to be in the spotlight, but maybe there's like a different way I could have done that because it is a person that's, in a vulnerable position himself.
of course. It's just so interesting. It's like this wasn't a free event, so the public didn't pay any money, and you get in to see all
Okay.
these artists for free, but they're not
Wow.
engaging. They're just standing up and
Yeah,
walking
that's interesting. Huh.
like entertain me or who are you or you know. But I've
Yeah.
experienced all types of all types of audiences, and I've experienced like back to back. Like Friday is a good example.
Mhm.
I had three performances that night. The first performance, I got an amazing response. Like I was cheered on. People were jumping up. It was excitement. The second
Yeah.
performance was that performance I just told you about. The third
Okay.
performance was another awkward, and then the fourth performance, so it's four that went into the next morning, was the technical difficulties. So it's an emotional roller coaster. I started off on a high, and then I
Yeah.
ended on like oh God, I'm not too sure how this performance went, and that's life of an artist. You just don't know what's going to happen, and you have to
Yeah.
deal with
No,
it. Yeah,
that's true.
and
You have to be
anything can happen.
prepared.
Anything.
Exactly.
You could you could have mic issues. You could. There's so many things, but that's why you just have to enjoy it.
Percent. All right. Okay, so a couple more. The next one says, "Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I am kind to everyone, but when someone is unkind to me, weakness is not what you'll remember about me."
Whew, I feel like you're preaching to the choir. I think
Yeah.
that really applies to me because people who know me as a very nice person. I'm always very
Mhm.
pleasant. I'm always smiling. But I think sometimes people take that for a weakness in terms of people think they can take advantage of me. One, I studied law. I'm a businessman, and I will check somebody for trying to take advantage of me or somebody else. Um, and just generally in life, I'm a nice person, but I don't disrespect me or somebody that I
Mhm.
love because I will check it like I said. But generally, I'm very nice. I'm very pleasant. I do think people always see me smiling, but I
Yeah.
think kindness for weakness is something that I'm a testament to that because I am not a weak person at all, but I'm a very kind person. And I
Yeah.
think, but I also will not let people take advantage of me. And I think sometimes people somebody tried the other day, this industry, they tried to pull a fast one on me in terms of,
Listen,
yeah. And I checked them. I said, listen, like from now on, all the conversations on WhatsApp to be recorded because I need to know that what we're saying back and forth, that we have, like I went into lawyer.
this one is so relatable for me because I was just
Yes.
saying this to someone the other day, and I love to I'm at a place now where I love to remind people I'm actually not nice. I'm kind. And being kind is a choice, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because you see me as a kind person, and is a smile and the kindness, obviously not all people, but the
Yeah,
persons that we're speaking
yeah,
of, right? They
yeah.
will see it as like, how can I take advantage of this person? Or, if it's ego, I don't really have to be nice or show up for her or, help him do anything because he's going to be nice about it. He's still going to show up and support me anyway. So I don't have to, versus somebody that's not nice, that's maybe using them or taking advantage of them for some reason. Like, they respect that person because they know if they mess up with that person, the person's gonna tell them off or make some big scene. And it's like, no, just because I'm kind and just because I deal with you in a respectable manner doesn't mean I won't tell you off. And I don't even have to curse. I'm sure in the music industry, especially as a man, people probably see that as a vulnerability, that you are kind,
For sure, for
you
sure.
know?
And I will check people. I'll say, like, and people are very surprised. People are left like I'm always very professional. I always used to tell my team, like my crew coming up in music,
Mhm.
like, no matter what, be professional, like even if somebody disrespect you, don't stoop to their level because, like things are recorded or, you just never know what you don't want anybody.
Yeah.
So I will tell you off in the most polite, respectful way. I'll say I politely decline to continue business with you. Thank you for
Mhm.
everything. I wish you all the best.
Mhm. That's
And
how you have to
end
do
the
it.
conversation. In this industry, I think a lot of people fear, especially when you have to pay your dues, people who are senior in the industry. And I can
Yeah.
only imagine what it is for women, because as a guy, it's like our fears might be somebody like just kind of taking advantage of you in a business way or this is, but With women, it's like, like
Mm.
men especially with women who are vulnerable. I've heard stories and like casually seen
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, like guys use their power to dangle stuff, or to women sometimes don't know what to do because they say if they don't do this, like they will be blacklisted or so. It's
I've
it's it's,
heard
it's a
those
very
stories too.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's a very
terrible.
difficult industry, but that, yeah, that kindness on that resonated with me because I feel like that is
Yeah, same. I think that one was for both of us.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so the last one is I don't expect perfection, but you're not allowed to sit at my table without integrity and accountability.
Yeah, yeah, that make it.
That
That make
sounds
it.
safe.
At
Yeah.
least a really good. I think that's important. I just respect honesty and I respect integrity and accountability. Like I can't be around people who don't hold themselves accountable when they're wrong, or like the wrong and strong. I mean, we
Yeah.
all have our versions
Yeah.
of it. I'm told that I have sometimes I can be very defensive and stuff. So I'm human as well. But
Of
at the same
course.
time,
Yeah.
after I would come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I definitely, you're right. But there's some people who wrong and strong. You can't tell them nothing. Can't criticize them about anything. I can't be around people like that. Because I'm just about having an efficient machine running in all aspects of my life, and that's important. Anything that's too chaotic, because this industry is
Mm-mm.
already very chaotic. But anything
Yeah.
that adds chaos to my life, I'm just like I can't deal with that.
Yes. Anything chaotic, not sound safe at all.
Yeah, that not make it. We just have peace. We want peace. I just want to have a peaceful business circle around me and a peaceful personal circle around me.
I think I've learned it's important to remain who you are and you can remain kind, but you have to have boundaries. You
Oh, for
have to
sure.
address when people violate those boundaries because I always say if you let people, they will willy bounce all over your boundaries and we cannot have that.
And I think that's something I had to learn. Because I always try to help people. I always feel bad to say no, but I think I've learned to say no now, and I've also learned to even a simple thing like charging for like the many things I would say I'll do it, but I have to charge for it. And you realize people say, okay. So it's fair sometimes of people, like you could just say, okay, even for like as an artist, like there are a lot of we do dub plates for DJs, and sometimes a
Mhm.
lot of DJs support you, and you have to choose, but you can't do something free for everybody. So I just tell them, I say, hey, like, like this is the starting price, but as it's you, I could give you a discount.
Yeah.
And they just say, okay, cool, no problem.
Sometimes it's not safe, but this was mostly safe. I feel like most of these were pretty safe.
Yeah, no, those resonated with me so much, yes.
All right, well, now let's talk the real things. So, as you kind of said earlier, you alluded to it, you're known for other genres, right? So, that tells me you've likely been surrounded by music probably your whole life. So, can you bring me back to your childhood? What was your first experience with music? When did you know you really loved music? Kind of take us back there to the root of your love for music.
Yes, it all starts with my father, Hilton Braveboy. Rest in peace, he passed away a few years ago, but my father was such an amazing,
Oh.
amazing father, amazing soul. He loved music, culture, history. That was his passion.
Mhm.
Dropping me to, like elementary school, like baby school. I'd be in the car with him and we'd be like, we call it, well, I guess you all call it freestyling, but we
Mhm.
call it X-tempo, which is basically freestyling to calypso rhythms. And it
Okay.
was yeah, it was really from a very young age I was just writing music without realizing it. And my father got me into he had this dream, like I'm an only child, so he was like his son is
Okay.
going to do this and this and this. Into calypso competition.
Mm.
I was on 12 and Under, which is a talent show in Trinidad, playing the clarinet. So I used to play clarinet.
Nice, nice.
Just being exposed to culture, carnival writing. And
Mhm.
then by the time I was in secondary school, I remember in Form 1, there was one of our science teachers tried to get us to learn something by using, she said, write a song. And I was just so good at it. It was just easy for me to write a song. Like some of the other classmates struggle, but I was like the person who could finish it fast. And I realized, I do have a talent here. And
Mhm.
then remember sound system culture was really popular in the late 90s.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the neighbors had a sound system and everybody wanted to be a DJ. And I couldn't afford doublets. So I used to imitate the popular Jamaican artists. I would imitate
Hey.
Elephant Man. Elephant sound system. And then I would say, "Eh, this is Brother Ben's for the ends." Or, hey, yo, yeah. Jamaican culture really inspired me. And I think that around the time there was a movement of raga soca,
Hmm.
where it was almost like dancehall inspired soca. And there were artists like Treason and, Bungie. I'm sure you know Bungie Garlin.
Of course, yeah.
And those, I was just inspired by that movement. So coming out of doing the dub plates and the sound system, we started writing soca songs. And I was actually working out in Machel's studio when I was a teenager. Not with Machel directly, but with a
Yeah, but
producer in his studio. It was called Ed Gordon's studio. So
nice.
at age
Okay.
15, I was seeing Machel and Bungie and all these people. Like, I'm just in the studio as this kid, like this teenager.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing all these, because we'd be there for hours waiting just to get a little bit of studio time. But it
Hmm.
was cool. Like, my father would drop us there, and I would see all these big artists preparing for. So that's why this me singing soca is a full circle moment, because I really started off in the industry, being around the industry. And yeah, so like my start really came with my dad, and then
Yeah.
just being a youth, just into sound system culture and expression. I think it was just all about expression. I did soca monarch. I did all those things as a youth.
Oh, that's amazing. You were really surrounded by some of the same persons that, like you said, when you're playing these shows now, that you're in the same rooms or on the same stages.
That's the crazy thing, and I think
That's crazy.
Bungie and I are pretty cool, but
Hmm.
I've still like I've been to Bungie's house, I've been in the studio, but we never really sat down and had a proper conversation. So I
Yeah.
would love to sit down, and same with Marshall. Like Marshall is always he always will see me. He'll always never pass me straight. He's always been cool with me and stuff, but I never had a conversation with him. And even when he performed at the Experience Fest, like he saw me in the
Uh-huh.
crowd and he was like, "Brave boy."
That's so nice.
That's cool.
I saw
But
some videos from that. That fet looked amazing.
yeah, no, the stage, the design, everything. It reminds me of like the EDM stuff, Tomorrowland, and you can tell that they're inspired by that. Yeah, but something that really stood out to me about Bungie,
Hmm.
when I was in our studio at 15 years old, I remember Bungie walked into there was a kind of waiting area before the studio. He walked past us, and then he realized he passed us without saying good afternoon. And he turned around, came back, and said, "Afternoon, guys."
I don't know him personally, but he seems like a
Yeah,
very
I just realized this guy's really.
respectable. Yeah.
Then like Marshall, I would see Marshall just organizing stuff, and I was just like in my mind, it's just like this is Marshall. But then you can't. I learned from a young age not to be starstruck
Hmm.
because you had to play it cool. So
Yeah.
right, 'cause, yeah, somehow I just got it. I understood that you had to play it cool.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't be allowed in the studio again. And then Kes, I went to school with Kes. Kes was a few years ahead of me.
Okay, nice.
So like Kes and I would have been in the same talent contest and stuff. So I don't know if you'd remember that, but I just know everybody in the industry, and it's kind of crazy because I made my decision to not sing soca as I
Hmm.
got into my adulthood. I
Hmm.
started to dabble in hip hop and dancehall and other, and I toured at a rock band singing dancehall rock and stuff. Right, 5 Miles.
Amazing.
But
Yeah.
it's just so interesting, all these people. Like when I really think about it, I was around them. Like Iowa George, I used to hand CDs to Iowa George in his station, and now Iowa and I are pretty cool. So it's just very interesting for me. It's like a full circle moment. Then also I was on Scorch committee. I was always somebody who was backstage or around the VIP, or just because I guess I'm a socialite in Trinidad. So
Yeah.
everybody in the industry knows me or knows my face. But being an artist now is just kind of interested in soca because the same
Yeah.
people who are accustomed see me as a patron,
Now
see me
you're an
as
artist.
so it's kind of
But
funny.
it makes me think of how you're saying it's a full circle moment, right? Like the importance of some of the things we talked about, like being kind, being respectful at that young age, and your ability to know, what rooms you were in and how to move in those rooms. Because let's say you went in those rooms and you were obnoxious, or, you were really rude, and you're just thinking, I'm a kid, it doesn't matter. You would probably not be seen in the same light now. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how that circle comes together.
No, no, and that's a great point. And I think that a lot of there are a lot of people in the industry who I've been around for years, but and DJs always tell me they like. I never pitch myself to people. I'm always just people always know me as just a real cool person
Yeah.
because we always around the same. I mean, it's just Trinidad. Trinidad similar to Jamaica. I've hung out in Jamaica and I've experienced everybody kind of knows everybody, and especially like
Hmm.
party uptown vibes.
Yeah.
Similar in Trinidad where whether it's Brian Lara or whether it's Marshall or whether it's in clubs, you've been seeing celebrities since you're like 19, 20, and you're in the same rooms as them. You just get kind of accustomed to being around them, and you kind of respect them in that way. Like if they tell you hi, you tell them hi. But I've never pushed up myself on celebrities, and I think that exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. I was training. I don't really get starstruck. I don't really. I admire people. The people that I will get a little excited for is like the people who I grew up when I was a kid. They were the big artists, but even so, I'm not starstruck. I'm just excited to meet them. And yeah, I will tell young people in the industry that's important. How you present yourself to in a room is important. People really appreciate when you just try your best to act normal.
Normal is like the funny way of saying it, but just present yourself as though you would with anybody else. So I have to say one thing before we go any further. I want to know how you felt when you saw Machel on Tiny Desk because I'm Jamaican and I felt so proud. I've grown up seeing a lot of old videos of him as a child, and just to see him get to where he's gotten to now, I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that he has this opportunity to share soca like literally with the world, because that must reach 1 million views by now. So many persons saw that. So yeah, I would just love to know how you felt just because you mentioned you had those encounters with him
Oh no,
as a
for sure.
young
I mean,
child.
Marshall for sure is one of my idols, and it's interesting. Like, it's so interesting. I just never had a conversation with him, just because I've been around him since I'm 15. My Addicted to Progress brand, he, like a mutual friend gave him as a gift, and he wore it to perform.
Oh my gosh, that's
His
amazing.
notification. So Trinidad is kind of funny and small like that, but just
Yeah, that's
happy. I mean,
amazing.
genuinely, people can say what they want about Machel Montano, but I think he is the greatest entertainer, soca artist, of all time, and I think he is the standard, the gold standard for when you think about who did all these big things. I mean, I'm doing a lot of cool international collabs, but he's definitely a big inspiration to me in terms of even thinking that I could do things like that, being from Trinidad. So seeing that Tiny Desk, I was just excited as everybody else. But I would say I also knew his drummer, the drummer Reese, the Beast. So I was even more
Okay.
excited for like because I mean Marshall is not my friend per se; it's somebody I admire. He's like one of my idols. But then
Right.
to see two of my friends, Reese and ATN Charles, who's a multi-talented trumpet player, like huge in the jazz world. And he's from Trinidad. I think for me, it was like, I'm so excited for this film, but then I'm also excited that these guys are getting to share the stage with him. But
That
I felt proud to be a Trini because I'm a fan of Tiny Desk and I have my own dreams of being on Tiny Desk. But he now makes me feel like, oh wow, I can do this
mm,
possibly, like I could possibly be on Tiny Desk. So I think I always, when I do get to talk to Marshall, like I would definitely thank him for being an inspiration for all of us, because even as an entrepreneur, like he's a guy who, he's the gold standard for concerts. He's the gold standard for having his own brands like merch, and having his own chocolate brand, and having his own, you name it, having his own store, just being a businessman, just image wise, like, like sometimes
yeah.
people say I look like Marshall sometimes, but and it's just like the glasses and the sunglasses and the hat and the swag
Yeah.
and the dreads. And I think too, people don't really talk about this, but he kind of gave persons with dreadlocks and a specific look a kind of acceptance nationwide. Because, Trinidad has its own version of racism and classism. And I think there's between him and DJs and like certain popular DJs, I think they gave entertainers a kind of pass to be in rooms, different rooms. So like me, I just look like an entertainer all the time, right? So for me, growing up, how I grew up, it's like I've always been accepted in all circles because of people like Marshall, and I look like another one of those, like that particular brand of artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Marshall is definitely, and even in the international market, I think my style and my voice definitely similar to Marshall too in this new direction I'm going. So
Mhm.
him and Bungie definitely open up so many doors for me without openly saying, "Hey, you." But
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Bungie
think,
as well.
yeah, no,
He's
I think
just
they definitely,
amazing.
without them opening these doors, maybe I would not have had the international opportunities I had. So I'm very grateful to them. But yeah, just to answer your question, I was extremely happy to see
Yeah.
proud Trini, proud Trini to
Oh,
see
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we have to talk about your name because you kind of said it
Yes,
in the That No Sound Safe segment, and I was stunned because I had no idea. But Brave Boy is really your last name, right?
yes, yes.
So I'd actually like to go somewhere different with it. Even
Okay.
though that's your given name, what does that mean to you? Like, does it have a significance to you? Because even though that's your given name, you didn't have to choose that as an
Nah.
artist name.
Well, interestingly enough, my artist name was Mark Hardy, and that was because I started off when I only time when I was in law school I started dabbling with rap hip hop. But then I thought, lawyers are very strict, kind of,
Hmm.
conservative. I thought I had to live two lives, so I had to save my name for if I become an attorney and do the bar and go that path.
Hmm.
So I had Mark Hardy was my rapper name, and then Marcus
Okay.
Playboy is my
The
real
hard,
name.
you kind of give it a little.
Yes, and a lot of people still call me Mark Hardy. I got hits in Trinidad as Mark Hardy. I had some Trinidad hip hop
Okay.
hits, which is hard to do because hip hop is not the music of Trinidad. So that was an
Right,
achievement.
right.
But I think I also had to grow into the name because I think when I was younger I was very shy and I think I was more on the timid side.
Hmm.
I think I toughened up as I grew up and I just got exposed to more things in life and just experienced life's ups and downs and just got more confident as a person. And
Hmm.
then also, I think when my dad got sick, it was just really carrying on the family name. And then when you travel, it's like people are like, "Your name is Brave Boy." That is an amazing. People are so excited about my name.
Yeah.
I really so it's a combination of I think I had to grow into the name. And I just I think yeah, like I mean, even what I did with this song "Love on the Road," most people who release a song like this are the top artists, which will be Machel Montano, Skinny Fabulous, Kess, Bungie, etc. Iowa George, talking about like road march, like confident road march energy.
Yeah.
The younger artists are either too afraid to do it or can't execute it. So I think for me, like I do a lot of things. I mean, just being from Trinidad, doing hip hop and dominating in that regard, doing EDM and like being from Trinidad and just going to all these festivals. Like, I've always been I grew into it where I was making a lot of bold moves in the industry, trying
Hmm.
different genres, just doing me, starting my own record label. Like I got a lot of people in the industry know me for the bold moves I was making, whether they liked it or not. They knew like, hey, this guy is crazy, going for it. So I think I grew into that name and then also definitely honoring my dad and honoring the Brave Boys generally. It's a strong name. It's and my family's actually from Grenada on my dad's
Wait, wait, wait.
side.
Hold on. Come again?
Yes, as boys are from Grenada, so Brave a normal name.
What? This
Yeah,
makes so much sense. Okay, so stick a pin.
you're
I
right.
went to Grenada last year. So I got very exposed to jab and more of the music and everything. And now I just absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right. And it makes so much sense because
You're
your
right.
sound has so many like different elements. And that's what I find with a lot of the Grenadian artists is that they're able to pick up with like the hip hop or the dance hall. So it's so interesting that you have that background, right? Because your sound kind of resembles that ability to be able to pick up everything.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan. I mean, I'm also, but it's probably my blood too,
Yes, of
as
course.
but
That
yeah,
is so funny.
something I definitely need to tap into more, like my Grenadian heritage.
Yes.
Into Grenada, there's actually a part of Grenada where there's like a Brave Boy tree. I think it's just one of those things where my family in Grenada, I'm not as connected to them. A lot of them move
Okay.
out of Grenada and stuff. Funny
Got
enough,
you.
I have a good story. I went. One
Yeah.
of my best friends is a filmmaker, Michael
Oh,
Montano,
okay.
and he was going for this conference, and he was like, "You want to roll?" I was like, "All right, cool." So I just went with him, just as his
Yeah.
brother. One of my friends who I went secondary school with, sorry, he was at a radio station, and he was like, "Yo, bro, come and check me by the radio station." I'm with Bungie, and I went to the radio station. I met the owner of the radio station,
Hmm.
and I told him my name is Brave Boy, and he was like, "We're cousins." I was like, "What?"
Stop
And then
it.
he was like, "You want to do an interview?" I was like, "Okay." And just like that, I did an interview on Grenada radio.
That's amazing. So now I have to go like a little bit of a different direction. So
Yeah.
being that I now know that you have those Grenadian roots, I have to ask, what is your favorite Grenadian soca song right now? Or your top two? Because there's a lot. There's a lot of good ones. So I'll say your top two.
Which one it is headbutt, turn it up. What song is that?
Burial, Little Carrie?
Ariel, yeah, that was it.
Oh, I love
listen, that
him.
song makes me. I like that, and I like Vaughn. I'm a fan of Vaughn too. I've met him; he's
Okay.
really cool as well.
Okay, nice.
Natty and Ton. I think one of them, little Natty and Ton. I think one of them might be my cousin. Love Jab, love Grenada. But for sure,
Same.
that I think little Vaughn. Who else? I think Jab Decisions. Jab Decisions.
Who else is on that song? Tara. I think his name is Tara.
I think it's Terror, and then they
Yeah.
Holy Pin with Gel Skinny and Lil Natty and Thunder. I really like
Mhm.
that song. I mean,
That's so
Green.
amazing. I think that it's so interesting how you now focusing on soca has kind of given you all of these, I don't know, full circle moments, like meeting persons from, your
Yeah,
father's side and kind of exploring perhaps in the future, maybe you'll make a jab song with one of those artists that you named,
I would
you know?
love to.
Mhm.
And and Mevon. I mean, Mevon, one of my like my brother.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, he's an amazing producer. Is
Yeah,
he a
and
songwriter as well?
yeah, we co-wrote
Okay.
Love on the Road together, and
Okay.
yeah, we wrote it together, and I
Nice.
think that we have a chemistry because we were known for hip hop. He was a hip hop producer before, so all my hit songs in hip hop, which is Pumpin' Boy, were produced by Mavon. So we have this brotherhood
Wow.
where we went through. We came, and I was a little more experienced in the industry than
Mhm.
him and our other friend Young Red, who's David Rudder's son.
Wow, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was the one who was kind of taking them everywhere, like I was the one who kind of knew the people, knew the DJs, knew. So it's a full circle moment. And Mical Teja is a full circle moment too because,
I love him as well, so
yeah,
talented.
as like my little brother as well. And
Oh.
I headlined this festival called Decibel in Trinidad.
Mhm.
And I brought all the artists like that I thought were dope, and I worked with on in my set and paid them and everything. Teja was one that the promoter didn't really know him, so the promoter was like, "Well, why you adding all these people?" I was like, "No, this youth." So it's amazing that he remembered me. Like we've always been great friends, but that meant a lot. The fact that it was a full circle moment where in the same venue years later he brought me out, and that
Yeah.
that was a moment for me this carnival because since that performance, that's when I got these calls for bookings. That's when I kind of got the respect from people that okay, he has a good song, but he could perform. I think
Yeah.
people forget like, but it's interesting because I'm going from a hip hop performer to a soca performer. So
Right,
now I have
right.
to ask questions: Do I whine? Do I want to whine on stage?
Hey.
How much do I jump and wave? How much do I? And it's interesting.
Right.
It's been a journey for me, and I think people are seeing it live. Like they're seeing like each performance, I'm getting more comfortable singing the song,
Yeah.
more and into that soca side of me. But I have
Yeah.
to thank like Mevon and Teja. They took a chance on me because I mean they at a high in their career where they are two of the like
Mhm.
top producer and top artists, but they still remembered me and they still remember to. But of course, even with that, the product is a good product. So it's like just as a lesson for people. Just because people are your friends don't mean that they owe you anything either. Right? You have
Exactly.
it's a business, and what's if something brings value, your friends would naturally be like, you know what, I got you. But
Mhm.
if it is what you doing might cheapen their brand, or you have to understand that time and place. This mightn't be the right time. Go back to the
Right.
drawing board and work on something else to bring to them. But sometimes people feel because somebody's your friend, is supposed to bring you on stage, is supposed to. I've never
No,
thought.
definitely. I feel like a broken record, but I don't even know if you realize it because you're the one telling your experience. But you just said another story that showed you being kind to someone, meaning Mical Teja, came full circle. Because what if you looked at him and said, "Hey, man, I want to help you out, but they don't know you, so sorry," and you disappointed him, and now look. And so I think that's an important lesson that you may not even realize that's shown through just you living your lived experience is that your kindness has allowed you to continue to prosper because people remember that. They remember how you made them feel, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, even just in terms of sometimes I wake up and I just see like my song is it's like a theme song for one of the television stations, and it's like it
What?
just yeah, it's just like connection. It's just somebody who I was kind to and always good. Like
Yeah.
always just remembered me, and it's like I think a lot of people in the industry want to see me win. I mean, you always have haters. There are definitely people who don't like me for whatever reason, but the majority of the industry, I think, has a lot of respect for just that I've always been kind and I've always been helpful. I've helped a lot of people, and I never asked for anything in return. That's just who I am. But
Yeah.
that Tej and Mevon, I think, are two really important stories because it's full circle moments of I invested in them because I believed in them and I saw something special in them. And yeah, not everybody's like that. Sometimes people forget about you. But yeah, with open
Most
arms,
of the time.
most of
People
the time, right?
forget.
But nah,
Yeah.
they both, and Teja, Mevon made sure and take the time to work with me, and like he saw the value in the song, like he saw like this is a hit, Marcus, like let's do it.
Yeah.
And then Teja just put me on his set and put me at a great. He presented me, like
I
so.
love
I'm
that.
just I'm grateful, and I think that these are
Yeah.
all full circle moments. And just I always tell people, just lead with kindness and respect. Don't try to take, you're not doing that to get some in return or for ulterior motives. Just be kind. Like this is important.
Especially the last part of what you said, to be kind without a motive. Because I think some people can use kindness as kind of a manipulation tactic. And it's like what you don't realize is even if Brave Boy is not seeing it in the moment, because maybe kindness is blinding you and you're thinking, "Oh, John just wants to be my friend and support me." It will be
Yeah,
revealed in time. And then what ends up happening
for
is
sure.
you now lose that access because when Brave Boy does figure that out, he's going to be like, "What? Like, I don't want you around me because it's
Yeah,
not genuine." So I think that's
yeah.
really important not to do it in a, manipulative way, but to genuinely be kind to people.
I can give you another story. Some years ago, a EDM group named Bad Royal came to Trinidad to work with Bungie
Mhm,
Garlic. They just
mhm.
fell in love with soca, and Bungie was the artist they were obsessed with, and they came to
Yeah.
Trinidad, and I ended up meeting them by a double stand. Right, yeah, double stand.
That's the first place I have to go when I touch Trinidad,
Yes,
double
yes, yes.
stands.
Best place to network. And through Reese, through my friend Reese the Beast, who was on Tiny Desk with Marshall. That's how all of this is
Oh,
connected. So
okay.
Reese met them in a Juve party, and they were hanging out by Frankie's. And then Kevin, who's the guy with long blonde hair and Bad Royal, we just connected. And I was like, at the time I was promoting in a club, and I was like, "Yo, want to go to the club?" And I took them to the club, and I just got them just make sure they had a time. And
Yeah.
then after that one night, they were like, "Okay, we want to roll with you." And then they were here for Carnival, and
Mhm,
obviously Fayan and Bungie busy, obviously respect, like being artists, like like doing their respective careers,
mhm.
and they didn't really have time to hang out with them. So I just took them everywhere, and
Right, like on
then
your way.
I put them on. Like my friends were working Digicel on Digicel truck, so they got a whole experience. Like hanging out with me, they went backstage everywhere. Like all my connects, I used for them, and I was like, "Hey, these guys here, I just want to show them around." Got in coach, got into this, and I took such good care of them. They were like, "Dude, like, come Miami Music Week, like, we want to take care of you too." And I was like, "I've never been. What's it like?" It's just like, just come, just like book your flight. And
Mhm.
if you have a place to stay, like, because it's kind of hard to get places to stay, you could go everywhere for free with us. And so said, so done. That was the beginning of my EDM career. I toured with them. I performed at Lollapalooza in Chicago. I performed at
What?
Miami Music
That's
Week.
major.
I met
Lollapalooza?
I went Shaq's party, like Shaq's. I met Shaq. I met,
As
like
in, hold on, wait a minute. We can't just my
it's this event. So Shaq is an EDM DJ. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and he's like a So he's big in that world. Like he has a whole career in that world. He's 7'2", and I was like a little child next to Shaq.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
The moral of that story is it was just more about kindness. Just plug it in my laptop, but it
Yeah,
was just more about kindness. Just being a kind person, I think, goes so far.
it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, because nobody owes you anything in this life. I think this is
Yeah.
this is especially in this industry. But I'm
Mhm.
grateful that like like my kindness has been returned, especially for Vaughn and Mical Teja. It's like I'm just so grateful to them. Like
Yeah.
this season has I'm being really blessed, but it's gigs and like just extra income coming in, or just an
Yeah.
opportunity to raise my profile as an artist here, because my profile is growing internationally.
Mhm.
But it's like just not experiencing that hometown feeling is really special,
Yeah.
like experiencing that home. Like I think everybody, I think even in Jamaica too, like having, because I think about the artists like Sean Paul and Shaggy, I'm sure to them, even them, it still means a lot when they have something a hit home, you know.
Of course. Of
Yeah, when
course.
they have something home, I think that is it probably gives them a good feeling.
Definitely. Okay, well, before we get to our last segment, I have to ask you more about your hit song, Love on the Road, and just how it came about. I know you said you work with Explicit, but how did it come about? And, you said a lot about how it's doing this season, but is that something that you expected when you were making the song?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we knew we had something really special because I have to big up this producer named Yo Elmi. I've never met Yo Elmi. And we've been working for years. We work on a lot of stuff. But this year we came up with something else, and then I was like, you know what? I think to take it on the next level, I need to work with a local producer. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta hit up Mevon.
Mm.
Mevon and I have this brotherhood and chemistry. It felt like back in the days when we were doing trap, so where we just have this way of just talking shiftiness and having fun. And it's like we lime in. It's like we lime in, but we're making music.
Yeah.
And I have to pick up Chandra. Chandra was in studio too.
Yes, she told me.
That was just so special. Like her energy, Chandra is just a amazing human being, and her energy just good vibes, you know. And
Yeah.
she's a carnival designer, and she just brought this feminine touch that I think the song needed in terms of even just being there. Like just her energy was just dope. And yeah, so because it's a tricky industry, everybody think they have a hit, so
Yeah.
we just felt like we like it, and we're like, okay, if we like it, then whatever. Right. And yeah, once we teased the song, I think we just had one story tease on Instagram teasing that Chandra's in the studio, and it was me, Mevon, and Chandra, and the
Mhm.
amount of people who checked the story, it was like 1,000 people.
What? Oh my gosh.
So I think we knew we had something special, and the people who were checking were like the industry people, the promoters, and then from the time that I released it on the first radio station, the response I got, it was just like, seriously, like, Marcus, I'm like, no, I'm no BS. I'm really proud of you. Like, people just kept on. And then these DJs who I've known for years
Yeah.
personally messaged me and told me congratulations. So
Amazing.
I think we knew we had something special, but I think
Yeah.
for me to win is just like, I mean, all this is great, being people saying that you could win road march and all that stuff, but I think for me the song's also from the heart. Is like I had an emotional few years to just different things happening in my life, and I
Yeah.
wrote from a very emotional place, and I think that it feels like I'm giving a piece of myself to the world, and that's a great
Mm.
feeling to know that people really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so for our last segment, I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. So you
No
have to answer
problem.
with the first thing that comes to mind.
No
Okay?
problem.
Doubles or oxtail?
I'll have to say doubles, but I really like oxtail. And yes, I'm not somebody who eats doubles all the time. I can't just eat doubles, but when I eat doubles, I'm like, wow, this is so good. Yeah,
Got you.
I had some real good doubles the other day.
Gosh, ugh,
Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to the food when I come there. That's really
but when
what
they
I'm looking
come,
forward
doubles
to.
on me. I
Yes.
carry them for doubles.
Yes, for sure. What's one word that you could use to describe your music?
Huh. Versatile. I would say versatile.
I like
Versatile.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very
I like
versatile.
that. Okay, let's see. When you're writing music, or writing a song, I should say, what is most important to you, would you say, the melody or the lyrics?
I would say a mix of both, but maybe melody more than lyrics. Like I think
Okay.
I've I mean I've sat into so many songwriting classes and workshops and
Mhm.
sessions in LA to Miami, and I
Oh,
realized at
nice.
the end of the day, a catchy hook or catchy chorus.
That's all you need.
But I'm also come from a rap background, so like lyrics are important. Over the years, I've focused more on melody for sure.
Okay, so you would say melody first, but still there's importance in the lyrics
Lyrics
as
are
well.
still important to me. I could really appreciate good lyrics. So, like for example, Machel song Encore. I
Yeah.
love how it was written. I think that it's a genius writing. Pick up Jeff as the writer of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even with my song, I could speak that like um Luther Vandross, A Thousand Kisses was the inspiration.
Hmm.
I wanted to have this song that's almost like a ballad, like a Elton John, Luther
Yeah.
Vandross.
And then it
You know,
gets crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I just wanted that. I just wanted people to feel and be in the feelings. And when you hear this, you feel like you're missing your ex, or you're missing your somebody you lost, a
Yeah.
lost loved one, or you're missing home.
Yeah.
And I think that we achieved that. So for me, the lyrics were important. I wanted to say like be poetic and say I could write 1,000 letters addressed to
Mm,
you. And I think
yes.
that if a man tells a woman that, she'll be like, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Kind of
Marcos,
love.
I'm very proud of you for bringing back motivation for the men to start putting some effort again.
Yeah,
Write
because
1,000
like,
letters.
it's like chivalry is dead. Men are not, like men are not trying to be, men just saying being very blunt. So I think it was me just bringing that back, and I think it's funny. Like even when I'm performing, like and I'm singing in the crowd,
Mhm.
I have like these people, like I would say, like a few fans of this song who this is their favorite song.
Mhm.
Like the first time I performed it in a big stage, I was a little nervous and I opened my
Yeah.
eyes. And I just saw a woman singing directly to me, word for word, and I realized this is something
Mm.
really special. It's
Yeah.
touching a nerve. And it could be exactly that. I think like you're right. Like I think chivalry is a bit dead with modern day men, and I feel like for a man to say things like that, like I'll send 1,000 letters addressed to you, send 1,000, like you're being romantic, you're making them feel like you really care.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like time and place, right?
Time and place. Yes, I
Time and
love it.
place.
I love
Yes.
it.
Romance is not dead, Ash. It's not dead.
It was dead. Your song is reviving it. How about
We are
that?
think people, women especially would love the video. Big up to my music video girlfriend. My friend
Nice.
Swan, who's the model in the video.
Okay.
It was fun. It was just a fun shot. It was a fun video directed by Michael Mulida. And yeah, it's just, we had a lot of fun shooting it.
If you could go anywhere in the Caribbean that you haven't been to yet, where would you go?
Oh, that's a very interesting, because I've been to Jamaica, I've been to Barbados, I've been to Grenada.
Okay.
Um, curious to see, I mean, the Bahamas, Antigua,
Okay.
St. Lucia. St. Croix, like people tell me I need to go St. Croix.
Mhm.
So like
I've
I think
never
those would,
been. I've heard it's nice though.
yeah, like I would love to. I think experiencing especially very touristy islands. So it's like a
Mm.
whole different level of tourism. So I would say maybe Antigua, yeah, St. Croix. Even like check visiting the French Caribbean might be interesting too. I just like
Okay.
different experiences. So like Martinique,
Yeah.
Guadeloupe, or I think that would
Nice.
just be a different experience for me. Just to experience something different.
Yeah. Amazing. And then lastly, of the countries, the Caribbean countries that you have been to, which
Yes,
one would you say is your favorite outside of Trinidad, obviously?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
I don't know.
Nice.
Jamaica felt like home. I get, but just a little like a different version of it. And I
Okay.
just Jamaica have so much vibes.
Yeah, we're full of vibes.
Like everywhere we went, it was. I think I went Mojito Mondays. I think I
Okay.
went something called this is Sexy Tuesdays.
Mhm.
And it was just so like you see Beanie Man walking like normal, just walking by.
Yeah, that's one.
And I think it was just cool. Like Jamaica just has its own vibe. I just don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I just
Oh.
loved it. Like I just can't believe I haven't been back. Like because this was years ago. This is almost a decade ago, and I have a lot of friends from Jamaica. Big up Candy King. I'm so proud of Candy too because she used to tell me about.
Yeah.
One day she told me, like, because I know she had a 9 to 5, and she was like, she wants to do this carnival business, and I'm like,
Mhm.
go for it, like, like, yeah, go for it. And PP, I met PP through Candy, and to see
Oh,
PP
oh,
grow as a promoter even in Trinidad.
yeah. Nice.
I feel like coming for Jamaica Carnival because this song is gonna carry
Ah,
me all
I'm
over.
sure I'm sure the song will take you there for
I know
sure.
this song
You
is
have
gonna carry
to.
me all over.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited. Like I'm blessed. I'm really blessed.
Yeah. I love that.
This podcast with you, just sorry that my phone is blowing up and my
You're fine. Well, we're almost to the end. This
yeah
is a part of the podcast where I like to do my thank you. I think of all the things that you said or that you shared, one thing that resonated with me is your kindness. I think a lot of times people can tell themselves like, "Oh, I'm kind," or "I'm this type of person," but it's evident in the way other people speak about them behind their back, right?
yeah yeah
I
yeah yeah
think
yeah.
that's important. I think even the stories you shared about being kind to persons that maybe weren't known at the time, and
Yeah,
it turning around and being those same persons that in turn helped you, to carry you to where you need to be right now. And you both being grateful for that experience. I think that's
rest, very well.
amazing. When you talked about music and it really stemming from your father, it's a pity that he's not able to see it. But I personally believe that he's able to see it in his own way
He's
because
deaf,
I think that's what's pushing you to go forward.
and his birthday was on his 17th. I performed on his birthday, which was really special. I
My
performed at
gosh.
the big experience. It was on his birthday.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Just the way you've lived your life thus far from what you've shared with me is a great example. How you treat people matters. And yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk the things with me today.
Thank you so much, Ash. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope to meet you
Yeah,
sometime and take you for doubles
definitely.
and to being on this podcast again.
Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you. Amazing, 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 amazing success with it.
Aw, thank you so much.